Hello everyone. I got a couple little packages today for us that I thought we could swatch out and kind of arrange. So I saw this on Alan's channel and it's named Kimbrant and it's off Etsy. And this is her graphite little teeny tiny pans, which we're going to put in an art tool kit today, along with some other paints. So we will go ahead and do that. We will swatch those out today. And of course, Art Toolkit makes a beautiful packaging with all their little cards. And I'm trying to condense. I have a whole bunch of mini little, let me show you, palettes that are kind of off of Amazon, but the problem is the pins that hold the tops together are falling out half the time when I put them in my bag. So I'm going to combine these and put them in the nicer Art Toolkit. And so I got 2 folios so that I could put all my little palettes in these big ones. And I got them without pans because I have a lot of pans and I got just a couple of extras. Ooh, tough one. And it just has a postcard in it with its magnetic bottom. So I got 1 silver, and that's going to be the gouache, I think, and this is going to be the watercolor. Ooh, having a hard time. And this will be for the watercolor. And so we're going to organize today, swatch today, and have a little bit of fun. In that box, I had also gotten a few of the tiny pans. And I'll show you what those look like. You can just order the pans separately. I didn't need these both completely full of pans. And I do have quite a few extras. And most of my paints already are in little pans. So I'm really hoping these are in little metal pans. If not, I will have to go ahead and put some kind of magnet or something on the bottom. There's those. Let's go ahead and open up this. And it came on this little card. And wow, talk about tiny. Can you imagine wrapping these little pans to put them in these? Oh my. And they are in little plastic pans. So I am going to have to go and get the little, it's weird. Is there a plastic piece on the top or, oh, I think they're covered. Yeah, they have a tiny little cellophane thing on the top so that they didn't stick. But they are clear little pans, so I'm going to, are they the same size? Actually, they go inside those, so they're just a teeny bit tinier even than the tiny pans. Okay, let me get some magnets, let me get all organized. I will unwrap the rest of these and we will swatch these out first and then we'll organize. Right, I have them all lined up. Let's go ahead and see how these colors are. Like I said, I saw them on Alan's channel and he really liked the graphite ones, and I thought these were perfect to put in the little travel kit. Hopefully I got off all the packaging because they did have these little clear layers and it almost left it like a shiny on the top because it was pressed against it. So this is the Merlot. They re-wet very easily. And this is Saunders Waterford hot pressed paper. Really pretty color. Well, so far so good. They re-wet beautifully. This is the Old World Ochre. I see my tape isn't quite straight, but that's okay. We always got to have it a little bit funky. I haven't seen too many handmade watercolor paints as like a graphitint type. Really pretty. Oops. They are tiny. I think I'm going to glue tack them in. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out still. Spruce. Try and keep these in order. I haven't labeled the backs of them, although there's not much room to label anything. I suppose I can put maybe a Sharpie on the bottom and just put like a couple initials on them or something, just so that I have that reference. Beautiful blue. This paper is absorbing the water a lot. It is very dry here in Arizona, so everything just dries so quickly. Get a little bit darker. I think I'm going to go over that Merlot one more time. I don't think I used enough water with that one. And this is the neutral, so it should look just like graphite. And it does. Yeah, everything's just drying so fast. I mean, I have the air going and everything, but it is just very dry in the summers here. Alright, let me do one more coat on that Merlot. Like I said, I don't think I got enough water. It doesn't even look like I use these little pans, so I think they'll last a little bit. There we go. I think that's a much better representation. They're re-wetting beautifully. It's just my paper's just soaking it in. It's so dry here. Okay, let's let those dry. Let's see what they look like. Okay, they're pretty well dry. Let me give you a closer look. You can see how the little pans are as well. Let me just make sure we got focus on there. They are beautiful colors, and they're made really well. They re-wet instantly. I tried to take a Sharpie and write on the back of these pans, and it just slipped right off. So I think I'm just going to use a tiny bit of tack on the back of them when I'm putting them in the palette. So let me lay out all the paints that are just going to go into the watercolor one, and we'll see how those fit. All right, so there's our graphite ones. Then these are, oh, what are they? They're Boulder colors. Natural boulder colors made from like plants and so forth, and this is the lutea. These pour pretty ugly, but I think I'll top them off from the cracks and stuff once I get them in there. The palette that I had kind of covered up those areas with a lip, so this will be better once I get them all in there, and then I'll touch them up after they're all organized. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll put you on a little fast because it's probably going to take me a while to think this through. And I have another little tin off to the side that I might use to fill in some gaps if there's gaps. Okay, so I did end up using sticky tack on those pans. I think that's going to work best long term, and it's the removable kind, so I can just peel those up. These pans are not the traditional size of these pans, so it took me an hour to do this puzzle here to get as many pans in it and get everything that I wanted in it without having gaps or large spaces. There is a tiny gap here and a tiny gap at the very top, but overall they're nicely so they won't move around when I put my brush in there or anything like that. So now we'll move on to doing the gouache palette. Sorry if my camera cut out. I did notice that it cut out while I was working on this. Battery just kind of crapped out. I was sitting here for a long time doing this little jigsaw puzzle, but I really liked the way that it turned out. And it had all these paints from so many little tins, and now I know all my natural paints are in one little tin, and that is perfect. So now we are going to do getting the gouache ones. And these pellets, they worked nice for a while, and then the pins keep coming out from here when it moves in transit. You can kind of hear how it slides around. And they pop out, and then the whole lid falls off, like it just did just now. All right, so I don't even know when my camera just crapped out again. I am so sorry about the broken, but I was going to put this on fast track anyway. Here are the gouache palettes, and you can see how my lid completely fell off. I don't know if you heard that, but these pins come out, so these palettes were more annoying than anything. The top of them, I actually just did, you know, that writing board stickers. That's what I cut to put on the tops of these, and they were just cheap business card holders for like $3 that I had used. Obviously, they didn't work. Well, they worked for a while, and now they don't. So we'll go ahead, and I'm going to organize these into this palette, and we will see what we have. I might have some broken spaces, and we'll put in some more colors. Okay, I have the layout, and now I'm just going to top off a few of them and fill in a couple of more colors. So this was two regular, like these size, plus you can get a few extra in one of the large folios. I was always kind of wondering how the size comparison was compared to, and hopefully I can fix a few of these cracks and get them to stick down. There's a couple that are coming up. Most of them look pretty good, so I'm going to continue doing that. right, we got her filled. I got the places all filled in. I think they look a lot better. I kind of filled in a couple of the big cracks. Hopefully that'll help keep everything together, and put a little water on the underneath. And so I'm going to let these set up, get tacky a little bit, and then we're going to swatch out both of the new palettes. Okay, I made my little swatch sheets, and now I'm going to go ahead and swatch them in the spots. I know it looks a little chunky right now. You probably saw me taping that up. That's how I tend to make most of my swatch sheets, kind of like this. And it has the separations in between the colors. That way I can add a lot of water in case it has a property, and use the space as much. Obviously, I eyeball it when I do it, so it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. They're not perfectly spaced or anything like that, but I think it works just fine. So let's go ahead and see the palettes. Okay, I got the watercolors all put on. I'm going to slide that over to dry, and then we'll do the gouache one. Oops, just making a mess. Let's pull off some tape and see what we have in this palette that I'm getting the tape off of the back. And this one has the bolder colors, the Lutea colors. There is a couple of colors in the middle that are letter sparrow that I had just miscellaneous. And then what else do I have in here? So this was bolder, which are all natural colors. Then we had a few letter sparrow. These are that Kimbrant that we swatched earlier, the graphite ones, or graphite based type colors. I don't know if I can say graphite because that might be copywritten. And then Lutea is at the bottom. So let's see what we got. And this is a very soft palette with all these kind of natural colors in it. That's why I thought the graphite ones would go in it, and I've been wanting to do this for a really long time and get it all into one space so that I didn't have, this basically was 3 small tins that were falling apart, and the gouache was 2, and I added a few colors. So one of these palettes can take 2.5 of the business card size. And that's a very soft palette, but I think it turned out really pretty. it's not, obviously not the main palette that I have. I have one more that is of all my main colors, which I can grab and show you the comparison. And then, and I still have a couple of the smaller palettes with specialty things in it, or specialty palettes. But I really like these Art Toolkit ones. Especially since you can bring so many colors. And I'm a person, I just want choice when I'm out and about, especially. I don't want to have to hunt down or mix a tremendous amount. I just want to get it on the paper when I'm out. And this tape is not very good. If you saw, some of it was bleeding through when I was swatching. This tape has little ridges on the top, and the tape actually, or the water actually just seeps right over it very easily. It's like a plastic tape, so I'll never buy it again, but I'm going to use it up because I have it. And I like the thinness of it. It's actually kind of hard to find tape that's thin, that you can do these kinds of lines and keep it separated. But usually, I had tape before and it didn't have this problem, and I wish I could find it again. It's one of those you should have written down when you bought it type scenarios so that you could find it again. But the tape that I usually use for when I paint pictures is the Holbein tape, and I love that. That doesn't tear any paper, and it sticks well. It's just, it doesn't come this thin, and I really wish it came that thin. Okay, so that is my gouache palette, and I have to leave this one open because I did do fresh and also top it off, but I think I solved some of the crack problems. All of these, now that is a mixture of a whole bunch of different gouaches, from Holbein to Winsor & Newton to, it's a hodgepodge. And I use these as, all my old swatch cards I use as bookmarks, just because I think that's a little bit of fun to do. Let me go get that other palette so you can see all three of them together. And there you go. This is my standard one and has a mix of a whole bunch of different brands. I only keep brand by brand in their larger palettes, and I label them. This is my main palette, and when I change out colors, I just put a little extra over it and retape it. This one is all laminated or taped with big, thick, clear tape. And I'll do the same to those two so that they can also be flipped over and used as extra mixing. And so those are my three travel palettes, which I think they will be so much fun. And then I have also, like I said, specialty ones in different kinds of palettes. But I am really excited about this because you put them all together and they are, that is so tiny, stacking three of those together and how many colors I have, because I always pack too much and I always like to overkill it. So this way, at least I'm smaller overkilling it, or at least that's my theory. So I hope you had fun seeing the, here's another look at those Kimbrant paints. I hope you had fun seeing me put together all of these and trying out some new paints and getting the palettes all set up for my travel gear. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.